This is John McQuay with 8541 Tactical, and we're here at the Shooting, Hunting, and Outdoor Trade Show 2019 at the Modular Driven Technologies booth. And we have Josh here. He's going to talk to us about some of the features on the new chassis and the new bipod for MDT this year. Josh?
Absolutely. Hey, John. How's it going?
It's going.
Yeah. So we're here. We've got our ACC chassis. The ACC is standing for Adjustable Core Competition Chassis. And what that really alludes to is the fact that we have weight everywhere on this thing. It's adjustable from its core. We have steel weights on the outside of the forend, on the inside of the forend, on the buttstock, and it's also built for competitors from the ground up. So we really wanted to make sure this was a modular. I mean, of course, it's going to be modular with our name. We want to make sure it's modular. We want to make sure it's adjustable. We want to make sure it was tailored to the shooter. Okay. So if you want, we can run through the features right now and just jump right into it.
Absolutely.
Okay, cool. So biggest thing that is going into there, we've got the weights all on the outside, all on the inside, kind of everywhere we could on this chassis. So you don't have to run all of them like they're in this configuration. You can run anywhere on the forend or not on the forend, as we were kind of talking about earlier. And you can really tailor the gun to make sure it fits you and it fits your shooting style, depending on what you're doing with it, kind of thing. Going on from there, we've got a full ARCA forend all along the bottom here, 17 inches, definitely one of the longer ARCA adaptable forends on the industry right now, as well as M-LOK everywhere. So we've got M-LOK slots all along the bottom, M-LOK slots all along the side, so if you don't want to run any weights, you can run rails, you can run night vision, you can run lasers, anything you kind of want on the front there. The other upside to that is, we've adapted our bipod onto here, and you can also go onto tripods really easily, right? Just direct mount. Moving back from there, we've got our near vertical barricade stop. So if you're going onto a log or a barricade or any kind of weird prop, and you're jamming your gun forward on there, you're not going to have any weird tilting out of your magazine or any risk of anything causing misfeeding, which happens all the time in matches, as we know. Other than that, kind of with the magwell, we've got a spare chassis here. Actually, I can show you. We have a really big flared magwell, which allows for easy insertion of mags, so you can pretty much throw a mag at it and it'll just kind of find its way in there. It's almost inspired by like an IPSC race gun, right? Like just huge, big flared magwell there. Ambidextrous mag release on these chassis, so easy to reach, even if you're shooting support side, or for me, I'm a lefty, it just makes it easier for me to get rid of the mag. We also have a kind of unique feature. We've got a trigger adjustment slot in the bottom for some of our chassis or some of the actions that actually have trigger adjustment from the bottom. You can reach in there with a small Allen key like a Trigger Tech Diamond or some of the Calvin Elites, stuff like that. Adjust your trigger on the fly at the range, right? We have thumb shelves on these chassis, just like we do on a lot of our chassis now. Just makes it a little bit more comfortable when you've got that open hand grip, so you're not having to kind of arc your hand in a weird way or mess around with the chassis there. You can't really see it on this one, but again, in our little demo chassis here, we have full inletting for 700s. We have Savages, Tikas, Howa 1500s, and soon to be the 700 long action with a really long 3.85 magwell, which is very exciting for the ELR guys. And also CZ 455s for the rimfire crowd. So huge amount of inlets coming. And we've oversized a lot, so aftermarket triggers, aftermarket mags, anything that you can throw in there should fit. And if it doesn't, just let us know. Moving back from there, we have the vertical grip installed on these chassis. So we kind of developed that grip alongside these chassis for competitors, keeping your hand a little bit more vertical. Again, with the open hand grip, you're finding with a thumb shelf. And one kind of the key features there is you can move the grip back and forth. So you can really tune the grip, again, to your hand position and make sure the chassis fits you. Kind of staying with that line of making sure stuff fits you, we've got all the buttstock adjustments, right? So this is really similar to our ESS buttstock, which is kind of staple now in our lineup. You can have a folding stock in the future. We don't have them available yet, unfortunately. But you do have all the adjustments to fit your cheek riser height and cheek riser position relative to that. And same thing with length of pull and buttstock position relative to that. So you can fit everything to you, and it all is toolless as well now. With your thumb wheels here, so you can do everything on the fly in a match, between stages even, or at the range when you're first setting everything up. So front to back, everything's adjustable. It's all set up to you, it's set up to the shooter, and you can make a lot of adjustments on the fly if need be.
You guys did a really great job with this, having run with the prototype chassis and then seeing the improvements that you guys made from the prototype into the production model. Yeah. It's really exciting, and I know we've talked to a couple of shooters now that have changed over from previous big name class leader chassis into the MDT ACC just just because of the adjustability and the advantages that it offers. So I'm really excited to see going into the 2019 year how much of the market share you guys take as far as competition chassis. So great job overall. I'm really looking forward to getting ours out and beating it up a little bit more and put some rash on it. Now, obviously I probably won't stack it up with all the weights, but it's nice to know that if you want to, you can.
Absolutely.
One of the features that really excites me, though, is how you guys swapped over the pistol grip. It was considerably different on the prototype model, and now that trigger reach is fairly adjustable so that you can set it to get that nice 90-degree trigger finger however you want to put your hand in there. And of course, the slot in the bottom is definitely going to make people's lives a whole lot easier. You never have that ball end Allen key that you need to be able to actually adjust your trigger without pulling the whole thing out of the chassis. So great job overall in the chassis. One thing we didn't talk about is price point on the chassis.
So your starting base price point on these guys, without any of the accessories, any of the weights, but the buttstock included, is $999. So you add a grip, a mag, and maybe a couple weights, and you're in that sort of $1,100, $1,200 price point, right? So very competitive with a lot of the other chassis and aftermarket stocks even as well that are out there right now in the market.
Right. Well, while that is a pretty sizable chunk of change to drop on a chassis, again, in the competition world, which is what this is really aimed at, that's pretty reasonable across the market. For guys, when you release the folding mechanism, will it be an upgrade for this one, or will it necessitate a different buttstock, or how will that work out?
So the buttstock will be really similar to what's on our ESS, and same thing with this, it's very similar as our ESS buttstock. It's just a slightly upgraded version. So same thing with the folder, all we're going to do is slightly upgrade that, where you won't get any length of pull increase, but what you will have is the adjustment for the extra guide rod, and then you'll also be able to put the weight in there seamlessly. All the colors will match as well, so we won't have a black buttstock and a gray chassis, and that's coming hopefully pretty soon here for us.
Okay, really exciting. I see you guys have the new bipod. Just acquired that. You want to talk a little bit about the new bipod?
Absolutely, yeah. So this the SkyPod, actually, we've got Sky Thomas here in the booth with us this year. He's the designer and the inventor of the SkyPod, and it's another one of those products that's just taken the market by storm. A lot of guys have switched over to it since its inception, and it's really kind of revolutionized what a lot of guys are doing with their bipods. So we'll run over a couple of quick features here. It fits really well on the ACC because it again caters to the competition market a lot, right? There are some hunters and some other professionals that are kind of interested in it, but it really is designed for those field matches, for PRS matches, NRL, stuff like that. One of the key features is you have a lot of adjustments like an Atlas. You've got your 45-degree locking legs, right? You can move those both forward and backwards. Oh, maybe it will unlock. Right? You can adjust it forward like that, right? You've got your locking. But one of the really cool features that not a lot of other bipods out there will do is you can also adjust your legs out. So what that allows you to do is drop your legs or drop your whole bipod setup lower than anything else in the market, or raise it up higher than anything else, while also being just one-hand adjustable, if I can adjust it. There you go. So you can go from the lowest possible bipod to one of the highest possible bipods in the same system there really easily, while still having it mounted just straight to ARCA or to a Picatinny system. Other than that, you've got a built-in barricade stop, which is a nice big flat surface at the back to pull up against a bag or to pull up against a barricade. You have a lot of other little things in here, like one of the facts that you can set it up to run on a tire or run on like a wide big prop here and push your legs forward, kind of like so, or tree stump even. You see those in a lot of matches. Really extend your span out a lot. Or what you can do is spin the whole bipod around, knock over the mag, right, and you decrease your footprint huge. Right? Now your radius of where you're actually sitting on is tiny, and you still have all that support of your bipod. So tons and tons of features built into this, right? It really came about because Sky was shooting a lot of the field matches out in Montana, where he's from, and he wanted a bipod that would then adjust to a lot of the different terrain and stuff he was running into. But this one here comes with the PRS legs, which are a little bit shorter and designed more for those kind of square range shooters, a lot of the stuff that you're shooting on flat ground. So if you need even more height and a little bit more of a wider footprint, we actually have the longer legs available. And they usually come with spiked feet, but they are Atlas feet compatible, so you can switch those out for extensions, you can switch them out for spiked feet, you can switch them out for whatever else you have kind of to run there. So tons and tons and tons of value built into the bipod, as well as the cant, right? That's one of the other things. I don't know how I missed that, cant on a bipod. You do have 170 degrees of full cant on this, which is more so than, thank you, which is more so than almost anything else that's out there, right? So you can
That's pretty massive amount of cant.
Exactly. You can pull your legs to almost all over the place, right? All over, and then you also have pan, right? So along with that 360 degree, where you're able to move everything around, you can also pan the legs when it's all canted over and all over the place, right? So you have a crazy amount of articulation out of the bipod that almost nothing else in the market can deliver right now.
Well, very nice. Looks like it gives you a ton of options. But one of the things we were talking about before we actually rolled the video is it looks like the options don't really get in the way. So if it's an option you don't need, then it's just there to support you when you do.
Exactly, right? And that's the thing is when you find yourself in a weird situation where you're like, I don't know if I can run this and I don't know how I can adjust it, you can find a way to put your bipod in there. Whereas if you're on, a bench or a flat kind of ground stage, just run it like a bipod, right? It can adjust to where you're shooting on.
Absolutely. And what's the price point going to be on the basic setup?
So for the pick mount adjustable option, that's going to be $499.99, kind of similar to where they're at right now. And then the ARCA option that we have here right now on this rifle is going to be $549.
Okay. And you said it will come with spiked feet.
Yes.
But the Atlas feet are an option. Will you guys be carrying the Atlas feet, or will they be an extra thing?
It'll just be an aftermarket upgrade. So it's one of those things that is compatible with, but as of right now, we don't have any plans.
Okay. Well, thank you very much. Looks like some great products that you guys got for 2019, and thank you for taking the time to talk to us about them.
Yep, thanks, John.